Greetings to all. This is Yoftahe Gabru from Boston, Massachusetts, from the Yoftahe Show. We are live on Facebook and YouTube Live. Today, we're going to be discussing acculturation and dietary study of Ethiopian immigrants. I mean, most of us who migrate from Africa or other continent to the US or the Europe, there are some adaptation that we have to do, not only learning the language, but at the same time, our body has to get used to about what food we are been eating and how we are adapting to it. And then based on the changes that we are having, we may have some kind of shock on our body that we're going to end up having some kind of health impact to it. እንዴት ከረማችሁ? ዛሬ ዮፍታሄ ሙላቱ ነኝ ከዮፍታሄ ሾው ፌስቡክ ላይቭ እና ዩቲዩብ ላይቭ ላይ ነው ያለ ነው። ዛሬ የምናወራው ኢሚግራንትስ እና ከኢትዮጵያ ተነስተን ወደ አሜሪካ ስንመጣ ሰውነታችን የሚቀያየርበት መንገዶች አሉ። አንድ ቋንቋውን ብቻ መማር ካልቸሩን መማርና ኢንተግሬት ማድረግ ብቻ ሳይሆን የምንበላው ምግብ ደግሞ ሰውነታችን በለመደው ላይ ምን አይነት ኢምፓክት ለውጥ ያመጣል በሚለው ላይ ለማውራት እንዲያስችለን ነውና የዛሬው ሁኔታ ሼር በማድረግ አብራችሁን እንድትቆዩ የተለያዩ እንግዳዎችን ይዤላችሁ ይጋብዝኳችኋለሁ። ስለሱ ዛሬ እንወያያለን ማለት ነው። Greetings to all. It's a pleasure to have you all on the Yoftahe Show on this very important topic. So I'm going to start so that you can introduce yourself. Jariot, let me come to you. Just tell us a little bit about yourself. So for the yes, thank you for being on the Yoftahe Show.
Thank you so much. My name is Jariot Karua, a registered and licensed dietitian in Texas, and also alumni of UT Southwestern Medical Center, and very passionate about community and clinical nutrition. So that's all what we are about. Thank you.
Thank you, Jariot. Dr. Bogale, once again, welcome back on the Yoftahe Show. It's an honor to have you. Dr. Bogale, ተመልሰህ ወደ Yoftahe Show ስለመጣህ እግዚአብሔር ይባርክልኝ እላለሁ። ለአንዳንድ ለማያውቀው ዶክተር ቦጋለ ራስህን ብታስተዋውቅልን።
Okay, thank you አቶ ዮፍታሄ መልሰህ ስለጋበዝከኝ እና ደግሞ ስለዚህ ኮሚኒቲ ስተዲ ስለጋበዝከን አመሰግናለሁ። ቦጋለ አረዶ እባላለሁ። በዳላስ የጤና ባለሙያዎች ማህበር አባልና የኮሚኒቲው ውስጥ ማገለግል ነኝ እና በዩቲ ሳውዝ ዌስተርን ነው የምሰራው። በድጋሜ ስለመጣው አመሰግናለሁ።
እኛም እናመሰግናለን። Jerry, once again, you've been so many times on the Yoftahe Show. It's an honor to have you. It's great to have you here. So እንደገና ተመልሰሽ ስለመጣሽ እያመሰገንን ስለራስሽ ትንሽ ለተመልካቾች ብትናገሪ. You're muted.
Okay, there we go. Well, መጀመሪያ thank you Yoftahe ስለጋበዝከኝ እንደገና በጣም አመሰግናለሁ። ያው በእንግሊዘኛም በአማርኛም ነው ማውራት ዛሬ፣ ስለዚህ ትንሽ ቢደባለቅም ይቅርታ እላለሁ። ያው ስሜ ኢየሩሳሌም አሰፋ እባላለሁ። እኔ ዛሬ መጣሁት የዳላስ ኢትዮጵያን ኮሚኒቲ ሪፕሬዘንት ላደርግ ነው። ሶሻል ሰርቪስስ ፕሮጀክት ኮኦርዲኔተር ነኝ እና ሪሰንትሊ ግራጁዌት አድርጌያለሁ እና ዛሬ በጣም ጥሩ ፕሮግራም ነው የምንነጋገረው ከኢትዮጵያን ኮሚኒቲ ፓርትነር አድርገን ስለሱ ፕሮግራም ነው ያው የምናወራው እና በጣም አመሰግናለሁ ዮፍታሄ እንደገና ኢንቫይት ስላደረከኝ።
Thank you, Jerry. And like I said, it's an honor to have all of you in here. So today's topic, like I said, is going to be mixed. We're going to do some in English and then some in Amharic. And then because we have also our sister Jerry from Kenya, at some point we will teach her maybe Amharic too. But for today's purposes, we're going to end up doing it in English and back and forth. So let me start, Dr. Bogale, for this, before we dive in into the main program. One, why did this program started? So, Bamarinya and Tamil Shil Taikehena, Zare Menara program, Millai based Hona Mohonu, Bacharu, Sawus Lemon and the Menara Lamagavat Bichel, Silla Programu, Tinish Betasadan.
እሺ ያ ጄሪ እንዳለችው በእንግሊዝኛም በአማርኛም ምናወራው ዛሬ በአማርኛ ብጀምር ወደ እንደምታውቀው ዳላስ ውስጥ የኢትዮጵያ የጤና ባለሙያዎች ማህበር አለ። ምናልባት እሱም ለወደፊቱ ለሾው በጣም ጠንካራ ማህበር ነው። ኮሚኒቲውን በጣም የሚያገለግል ትልቅ ማህበር ነው ያለው እና በየጊዜው ፍላየር ይሰራል እና ከሁለት ዓመት በፊት ስለ ጾም በጾም ጊዜ ስለ ጾምና ጥቅሙና ጉዳቱን ጻፍ ብሎኝ እሱን ስጽፍ እንደ ሪሰርቸር እንትን ማቴሪያል ማግኘት ነበረብኝ እና ስፈልግ ምን መጣው በኢትዮጵያ ጾም ላይ ተጻፈ በተለይ ወደ ሌሎች ሀገሮች ሄዱ ሰዎች ላይ ተጻፈ ምንም የለም ስለዚህ ሪፈረንስ ማድረግ አልቻልኩም እና በኦርቶዶክስ ሃይማኖት ላይ ተጻፈ አለው የብፈልግ ያገኘሁት ግሪክ ኦርቶዶክስ ላይ ነውና ዋው በዛ ምክንያት ስለዚህ ምንም ጥናት የለም የሚለው አየው ማለት ነው ስለዚህ ያችን ወረቀት እንደምንም ጽፌ ከላንኩ በኋላ ይሰማል ወደ ዩቲ ሳውዝ ዌስተርን ኒውትሪሽን ዲፓርትመንት ሄጄ እንደዚህ ጋፕ አለ ምንድነው ማድረግ የሚቻለው በየስጠይቅ ዋው እሱን እንሞክራለን እና እስኪ ጥናት ማድረግ በጋራ ተባብረን እናረጋለን ማጥናት የሚችል ሰው እንፈልጋለን ብለው ቃል ገቡልኝ እና በጥቂት ጊዜ ውስጥ በዛ ተማሪ የነበረ ሰው ፈልገው ያው እህታችንን አገኙልን እሷም ፈቃደኛ ሆና መጣች ማለት ነው so to make it just brief I was asked to write about the benefits of fasting about 2 years ago here and I tried to research for my paper for the flyer I couldn't find any material that's written in, about fasting on Ethiopian community especially abroad then when I dig a little bit deeper especially about Orthodox fasting the only material I found was on Greek Orthodox on monks small number 731 not even big study so I found a gap then I went to UT Southwestern Nutrition Department to explain what the gap was and then the department promised me to look into if they can find students who can study then fortunately they found Jared who was doing her master study and and she was volunteered to work with Ethiopian community and the Ethiopian Health Professional Association to do this research. That's how it's initiated.
Thank you. So Jerry, let me come back to you. So how did you get involved with this project? And then just summarize what we're going to be talking about also from your perspective so I can understand that part. Jerry, did you hear me?
Oh, is it? Sorry. So definitely how I came to just coming to this study was, as Dr. Bogale said, it definitely, when I had it was an African community, and definitely it's something that I've always wanted to do, like to build or to get involved in helping the nutrition in African communities, especially just having the advantage to be here. And so just alleviating that nutrition maybe gap that may be there between when people are in Africa and when you're here. And so definitely about acculturation. So it was something I was interested in, and especially this is an opportunity for me to learn the Ethiopian community, how their diet and all that. So it was something that I was very much interested in joining and also just getting part of. And so it has been a learning journey just to understand the Ethiopian community itself and how diet can affect or plays a key part in the health of the Ethiopian community, because this still reflects to, it can also be used to also just show how diet can affect or play a role, especially dietary acceleration to other to other communities from African countries or even all over the world when they're immigrating to another population. So this definitely this study is very good in highlighting the different health indicators that you can get from acculturation.
Thank you, Jerry, for that. And then Jerry, same question to you. How did you get involved with this project? What is the role that you're playing?
Yeah, I think Jerryoth and I, when we hear you say the names, we're like, is it Jerry or Jerryoth?
I'm gonna make sure to be specific with that one.
So we're both like, is it you? Is it me? But thank you, Yoftahe. So my role is really with the Ethiopian community, right? So this is this is a co-sponsored study between the Ethiopian community, the MAAEC, as well as the UT Southwestern. So our role is, as the Ethiopian community here, is really to maximize the eyes and make sure that we're able to have the Ethiopian community, have our community out here have access to the survey and be a part of this study, because it's going to be able to really help us understand what are some of the health issues that we see in our community. And so my role and our role as a whole is really to just bring the people, bring the community together and expose them to this survey.
Thank you, Jerry. እንዳልነው እንግዲህ በአማርኛም በእንግሊዝኛም እየደበላለቅን ስለምናደርገው we trying to capture as many audience to participate on it, so we're going to be going back and forth between English and Amharic to explain the whole situation, so we apologize for that in advance. So Jerry, all of you, thank you very much for being here. So let me dive in a little bit more. Dr. Bogale ya ወደ አንተ ልምጣና ስለ ፕሮግራሙ ያወራነው እንግዲህ ኢኒሺዬሽኑ ምን ነበረ በሚለው ቅድም ተናግረዋል ባጭሩ። እዛ ላይ ሞር መጨመር ከፈለክ ጋፑ ምን ነበረ? ኖትስት እንዳልከው ሪሰርች ለማድረግ ስትፈልግ ልታገኝ አልቻልክምና ከዛ ሰዓት ተነስተህ ይሄ መሰራት አለበት ብለህ ያነሳሳህ ነገር ሰው መረዳት ያለበት ምንድነው ብለህ ብታስረዳን ማለት ነው።
በጣም ቆንጆ። ያ ከጾሙም በተለየ ወይም በተጨማሪ እንደምናውቀው የዌስተርን ዳይት የሚባለው የአሜሪካ ዳይት የሚባለው በጣም መጥፎ እንደሆነ ብዙ ሰዎችን በውፍረት በልብ በሽታ በካንሰር በምናምን እንደሚያጠቃ ይታወቃል። በተጨማሪም ደግሞ ብዙ ኢትዮጵያኖች የኛ ምግብ እንዴት ነው ጥሩ ነው ወይ በሽታ የሚያመጣው እሱ ነው ወይ የሚል ነገር ይጠይቃሉ። ቅድም እንዳልኩት ምንም ጥናት የተደረገ ስለሌለ በኢትዮጵያ ምግብ ላይ ምንም መመለስ አይቻልም። ያለው ብላክ ባክስ ስለ ኢትዮጵያ ምግብ የማይታወቅበትና በደንብ የሚታወቀው ስለ ዌስተርን ዳይት ችግር መኖሩ መታወቅ፣ ሁለቱም ማወዳደር አትችል፣ የሚታወቀውና የማይታወቀው ማወዳደር አትችል። ስለዚህ ያንን በደንብ ማወቅ አለብን። ያንን ለማወቅ ደግሞ ሰው የሚበላውን በተለይ ደግሞ ወደ አሜሪካ ሙቭ ያደረገ የመጣ ሰው የሚበላውና የምግቡን ቀይሮ እንደሆነ አልሆነ ያንን አብጠርጥሮ መለየት ያስፈልጋል ችግሩን ለማወቅ ማለት። ስለዚህ አንዱ እሱ ነው። ያ እንደሚታወቀው የአሜሪካ ዳይት ብዙ ቅባት የበዛበት፣ ብዙ ስኳር የበዛበት፣ ፕሮሰስ የሆነ ፉድ የበዛበት መሆኑ ይታወቃል። አንዱ እሱ ነው የሚታወቅ ማለት ነው። ሁለተኛው ደግሞ ሰዎች ከአንድ ሀገር በተለይ ከአዳጊ ሀገር ከደሃ ሀገር ወደ አደጉ ሀገር ወደ አሜሪካ ወደ አውሮፓ ሲሄዱ የምግብ ለውጥ ያመጣሉ፣ የቋንቋ ለውጥ ያመጣሉ። ያ ለውጥ ችግር ያመጣል ወይ የሚለውን መመለስ ያስፈልጋል ማለት ነው። እሱ በኢትዮጵያኖች ላይ የለም ቅድም እንዳልኩት፣ ግን በሌሎች ሀገሮች ላይ አንዳንድ ተሰራዋል። በኋላ ጄሪዮት ልትናገር ትችላለች። ከቻይና ወደዚህ መጥተው የተጠናባቸው አሉ፣ ከአረብ ሀገሮች ወደዚህ መጥተው የተጠናባቸው አሉ፣ ከላቲን ወደዚህ መጥተው የተጠናባቸው አሉ። እና ሰዎች ከነዚህ ሀገሮች ወደዚህ መጥተው ምግባቸው ሲቀይሩ የአሜሪካን ምግብ ሲበሉ ሞር በሽታ እየበዛ ይመጣል። ያንን በእኛ መኖሩን አናቅም፣ ምክንያቱም የኛ ይሻል አይሻል አናቅምና። ሌላ አንድ ጥናት ያገኘ ነው ምንድነው በኢትዮጵያኖች ላይ ወደ እስራኤል የፈለሱ የኢትዮጵያኖች ላይ ተደርጓል። እና በተለይ ወጣቶቹ በአጭር ጊዜ ውስጥ የዳያቤቲክ የሱካር በሽታ ይዛቸዋል ከፈለሱ በኋላ ማለት ነው። እነዚህ ወጣቶች ናቸው። እና ወጣቶች ደግሞ ቶሎ መቀየር እንትን ይኖራቸዋል። ስለዚህ ያ እኛ ጋር ይስራ አናውቅም። ያንን አብጠርጥሮ ማወቅ በጣም አስፈላጊ ነው ማለት ነው። So to just summarize in English, the gap we found is this. We know the American standard diet, which is sadly called SAD diet, SAD, standard American diet, or the Western diet, is associated with weight gain, obesity, and from that comes diabetes, cancer, even all brain problem, Alzheimer's, bone problems. So all kinds of chronic health problems may be related to the American diet or the Western diet. We know that. We don't know what is going on in Ethiopian diet, especially when Ethiopians are migrated to the Western, specifically to America. We don't know, and I have been asked several times, is our diet healthy or not healthy? We don't know. So we can't compare what we know, the bad diet, the sad diet, American diet, versus Ethiopian diet. So to know that, we have to study what Ethiopians eat, how far they change it from Ethiopian cultural dishes to the American food. So that's how Jerry came in and designed this study. So during the design, she will explain in detail. The change is not only in food, is the cultural shift. That's what acculturation is, cultural shift. The acculturation can be explained in language or in food habits, where they eat in restaurants, take in home, and all this come together. So we don't know if the Ethiopian diet is healthy or not. We know the American diet is unhealthy. And we don't know if Ethiopians who shift from Ethiopian culture to the American way of living, way of eating may affect. So we think this study is the first to try to answer this question on Ethiopian community. But there are few other studies we may go in detail from other countries or other immigrants. Thank you.
That's good. Thank you, Dr. Bogala. Like, I mean, that's what I'm going to think. We're going to divulge in a little bit of the impact you mentioned about the Ethiopian food. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But Jerry, let me come to you. So just like Dr. Bogala said, there are some other studies that you have seen. So if you can notice, I mean, if you can share a little bit about those, what worked, and then what you're trying to replicate also in this program. So if you can tell us a little bit about some of the research that you have seen in other cultures.
Okay, thank you so much. So especially with talking about acculturation with the immigrant communities, so some of the studies that have been done is like for Chinese Americans, Asian Indians, I mean American Indians, also people from Tunisia. So one of the things and also Filipino and Latino, something that's very common with the Latinos and the Filipinos, Chinese American and American Indians is that those who have immigrated to the United States, because this was studies done about these immigrants to the United States, so that they had a higher risk of chronic diseases, unlike their counterparts who are back in their country. But however, other studies such as there's a study about Tunisians who immigrated to, I think, France. These people, it showed that some of the Tunisians who maintained their Tunisia culture or Tunisian diet actually had very less chances of having chronic diseases, unlike their counterparts who adopted the diets from France. So this is something that that raises a question that dietary acculturation can really impact the health of the individual. But again, you also have to think about what are other factors that affect the health of the individual. Culture is a very big thing. Religion is a very big thing. Geographical location, and especially for the immigrants, dietary acculturation is a very big thing. So when we came to the design of the Ethiopian study, we have to look at every aspect of what factors affect the health of the individuals and especially the health of the Ethiopian community, because religion plays a very key role to the Ethiopian community, as I have learned going through research about the Ethiopian community. They have Greek Orthodox, they have Islam, they have also the Christians, and so they also have during fasting periods, they do practice probably close to veganism. Does this have an impact on their health, and does this actually help them in reducing the risk of diet-related chronic diseases, even having been to the being acculturated to the American diet, and how and to what extent do they actually acculturate to the Ethiopian diet? So this is one of the things that we look at, especially in the studies, and when we are also now doing our study. Yeah.
That's good. Jerry,
I want here
sure, Dr. Bogal.
Yeah, the other gap is, like Gerald said, even though there are studies from other immigrant population, you can't use the tools, the methods they used for other culture. There is a different food types, and there are different religions. And when you come back to Ethiopian community, like you said, there is a religion difference. There is several, we know that more than 80 different mix of people, ethnic groups are here. So even Ethiopia is not a one culture.
Yeah.
And you can't apply the Filipino study here or the Latino study here. So one of the important objective of this study is to generate a tool by itself. The method of studying of Ethiopian culture, acculturation, is different from the other. So we are starting from bare minimum with nothing. That's where this study comes in. እንደሚታወቀው የሌሎች ሀገሮችም ጥናቶች ተደርጎ ቢሆን ያንን ጥናት ወደ ኢትዮጵያ ኮሚኒቲ ማምጣት አይቻልም፣ ወደ ኢትዮጵያ ሚግራንት ማምጣት አይቻልም። ምክንያቱም የኢትዮጵያ የተለያየ ሃይማኖት፣ የተለያየ ጎሳ፣ የተለያየ ያበላል ከመጀመሪያው ሲነሳ የተለያየ ነው ያለው። ያንን ለማወቅ የሌሎችን ሀገሮች ጥናቶች እዚህ ላይ ማምጣት አይቻልም። ስለዚህ ራሱ የጥናቱን መሰረት ዘዴውን አዲስ መስራት አለብን። ጥናቱ አዲስ ብቻ ሳይሆን የጥናቱ መሰረት፣ የጥናቱ ዘዴ አዲስ ነው። ስለዚህ ያንን ነው አሁን እንደ acculturation tool and the dietary acculturation tool and instrument ብለን የምናቀርበው ማለት።
Okay, so I think let's divulge more on that. I mean, thank you, Jerriet, for mentioning that. And then Dr. Bugal says that has never been done. So you may have some data based on different cultures, but if you never had any kind of study done before, then you're starting almost from ground zero. You may have some kind of blueprint you can follow, what worked and didn't work, but just collecting data, the kind of population that you have to have, it's going to be by itself a challenge. So I'm going to ask the same question for both of you. Dr. Bogale ወደ አንተ ልመለስና እንግዲህ የኛ ህዝብ እንግዲህ እንጀራን በላ ነው ልበል፣ ዶሮውን፣ ጥሬ ስጋውን እያለን አድገናል። ግን የምግቡ አይነት እዚህ ውስጥ ይሄ ምግብ ይሄ ካሎሪ ያለው ይሄ ጥቅም አለው ጉዳቱ ሳንል ነው ብዙ ጊዜ እና አሁን ግን ትንሽ እየተቀየረን በሳይንሱም ሌብሉ እየተቀየረና አሁን እዚህ ላለው ህዝብ ብቻ ሳይሆን ኢትዮጵያም ላለው የምንበላው ምግብ ጥቅሙን ጉዳቱን ለማወቅ እንዲችሉ ባጭሩ የምግቡ አይነቱ ምንድነው ጥቅሙ ብለህ ለማስረዳት ሲጀምር ምን አይነት አጀማመር ምን አይነት ትምህርት ነው የምትጀምረው? እንዴት ነው የምታስረዳው?
በጣም ጥሩ ጥያቄ ነው። ብዙውን ጊዜ ኢቭን ሳይንቲስቶችም በዚህ ነገር ላለፉት 30-40 ዓመታት ሲወዛገቡ ነበር። በአሁኑ ጊዜ እንዳው ለማሳጠር በአሁኑ ጊዜ ያለው የጥናት የኑትሪሽን ጥናት በካልቸር ወይም ኑትሪሽን ፓተርን የሚሉት አለ፣ ዳይተሪ ፓተርን ጠቅላላውን የአመጋገብ ዘዴ ነው የሚመለከተው። ድሮ ስለ ኒውትሪየንት ያጠኑ ነበረ። ቫይታሚን ዲ ምን ያመጣል፣ ቫይታሚን ሲ ምን ያመጣል እና ሰው ቫይታሚን ለብቻው አይበላም። ኢቭን ሰው አፕል፣ ሙዝ ምናምን ተብሎ ለብቻው አይበላም። ሰው የሚበላው ጠቅላላ አድርጎ ቁርስ፣ ምሳ፣ እራት የተለያየ ምግብ ነው የሚበላው። ያ የተለያየ ምግብ በየቀኑ ይደጋግመዋል እና ያ ፓተርን ይባላል። ያ ነው ዋናው ከባህል ጋር ተገናኝተው ከእድሜ ጋር ተገናኝተው ከጾታ ጋር ተገናኝተው ከሃይማኖት ጋር ተገናኝተው እነዚህ ይህ ዘይቤ ያበላል ዘይቤ እሱ ነው ዋናው መታየት ያለው እና በአሁኑ ጊዜ የሚመረጠውና የሚመከረው ሰው ምግብን እግዚአብሔር እንደፈጠረው ስንዴ ከሆነ ስንዴን ሳይፈተግ ምናምን ውስጥ ሳይገባ ሌሎች ኬሚካሎች ሳይጨመሩበት እንደዛ አይነት ሆል ፉድ ዳይት የሚባል ማለት ወደ ሆል ፉድ ቢሄድ ወደ ጥራጥሬ ወደ ፍራፍሬ ቢሄድ ወደ አታክልት ቢሄድ እንደዚህ አይነት ጠቅለል ያለ ጥናት ነው በአሁኑ ጊዜ ኑትሪሽን ወደዛ እየደረሰ ነው ስፔሲፊካሊ አንዳንድ ነገሮችን ከማጥናት ወደዛ እየመጣ እና ህዝብን የምንመክረው ያንን ነው ያን ያድርጉ ሳይሰበሰብ ዳታ አይታወቅም እና የአንድ ሪሰርች ዋና መሰረቱ ከብዙ ሰዎች ምን እንደሚባሉ እንዴት እንደሚባሉ እንትን ካለ በኋላ እሱን ተከፋፍለዋል ማለት ነው ስንቶቹ ናቸው ወደ ሬስቶራንት ሄደው የሚባሉ ስንቶቹ ናቸው በቤት አሰርተው የሚባሉት ምን አይነት ነው ከፋፍለ ስታየው እና የትኛው በሽታ ይበዛበታል የሚለውን ታለ እና in general nutrition science evolved over time used to be a study of micronutrients and individual nutrients people don't eat individual nutrients people eat the whole thing including the cultures the system and this is called dietary pattern so to study about nutrition specifically right now and to give dietary guidelines you have to know how people eat socioeconomic factor geographic factor even zip code in America that affects how people shop and access to health care all this come back to nutrition so the study of nutrition is a dietary pattern to do dietary pattern you have to ask questions you have to ask a question and you have to survey people where they fit so in our case in this study we come back to the study and we're trying to find out what is the dietary pattern how people eat in out whole food so in general just to give even the dietary guidelines is concentrate on plant-based diet, especially whole food, fruits and vegetables, and less processed food. That's the basic nutrition guideline this time.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Bogale. Jerry, let me ask you a question. With every data collection, there's a challenge that's going to come in. And Jerry, I'm going to ask you some lot of questions. But Jerry, so የኛ ህዝብ አንዳንዴ የሚቀበላቸው ነገሮች አሉ እንደዚህ ነገር ስታዲ ሲባል ለምንድን ነው ብለን ካልቸራሊን ብቻ የተለያዩ እና ቻሌንጁ ምን ይመስልሻል ምን አይነት ሰው ነው የሚያስፈልገው ብለን ከመግባታችን በፊት አንድ ይሄንን ራሱ የሚያስፈልግ ነው ብለሽ ለማስረዳት ስትሞክሪ በምን አይነት ሁኔታ ነው የምታስረጂው
I think ያው even Dr. Bogale እና ጀሪያት ያለችው በጣም እንኳን ለሌላ ሰው ለኔ ራሱ እያዳመጥኩኝ ዋው ያልኩኝ ለራሴ እንትን እያመንኩ ነው more and more ሰውን ለማስረዳት simply like ራሳችንን ዳይታችን ማየት አለብን like አሁን ከኢትዮጵያ መተን እንዴት ነው ሰውነታችን ተለወጠ ወይ ዳይታችን ተለወጠ ወይ እንዴት ነው ውስጣችን ፊልም እናደርገው ብለን ራሳችን መጠየቅ አለብን ራስ በራስ ማለት ነው ራሳችንን ጠይቀን እሱን አናላይዝ ካደረግን እናውቃለን ይሄ ስተዲ እንደሚያስፈልገን especially Dr. Bogale እና ጀሪያት ያሉት ይሄ ተደርጎ ያቀበኛ ኮሚኒቲ ስለዚህ የግድ ማስፈልግ እንደሆነ እሱ ራሱ ያሳውቃል even አሁን ቅድም ጀሪያት was talking about fasting አሁን ጾም ያው ኢትዮጵያና ኤርትራን ኦርቶዶክስ ጾም አሁን ያለቀው ሳምንት ሆነ even the first 2 ቀን ራሱ ያው ጾም 55 ቀን ነው 55 days we fast እሱ አልቆ ራሱ the first day second day እኔ ራሴ even like በቃ ቀይ ወጡ ምኑ ሳገሳ ራሱ I could feel it or like just ሰውነቴ react ሲያደርግ so እሱ ራሱ it's እውነት like already ሰውነታችን react ያደርጋል በ55 ቀን በኋላ ስለዚህ 10 ዓመት ከኢትዮጵያ ወጥተን ደግሞ እዚህ የዌስተርን ዳይት ከለመድን ኢማጂን ስንት ሪያክት እናደርጋለን ሰውነታችን ራሳችን ማናቀው ስለዚህ ይሄ ስተዲ በጣም ነው ለሱ የሚያግዘው እና አይ ቲንክ ቻሌንጅስ አለው ግን ሰውን ማሳመን ሳይሆን ይሄ እውነቱን መነጋገር አለብን analyze አድርገን we have to figure out if we can get to the bottom of it and figure out if we can learn more about some of the issues that we're seeing in our diets.
That's good. Thank you. For those who are watching, we are on YouTube and Facebook. Yoftahe Show, share and then join us. We're talking about innovation. Western diet wants to migrate from Africa, how our body is affected by the dietary choice we make. So, Jerry, back to you. Similar question from what you have seen, because for that you do, there are challenges, and most of the time is having to find participants and understand what needs to be done. You have to share what the challenges are. So, what are the obvious? We talked about it, but if you can generalize it, obvious that you see, health gap that you see, in order to be able to explain for someone to participate. This is why we need to do it. So, what language do you use, or how do you summarize it for someone to be able to understand why they need to participate?
Why someone needs to participate is because so our research is there to develop this tool that actually informs us of the dietary pattern and also the different aspects of that affect our health. And so it's really important to help for an individual to participate and help us to understand how do they consume their diet, what are they practicing, how are they eating. It's not about judging them on what they're eating or saying maybe this is bad, but it helps us it just informs us into knowing that probably an Ethiopian diet is the way to go, and it's probably the way to advise somebody else to actually consume and live a healthy life and avoid these chronic diseases, or probably some of the things that you can borrow from the American diet. There's some of the things that the Americans can also borrow from the Ethiopian diet. It's something that helps to inform us on how to live, to be healthy, to live better. And also one thing is about once we are able to develop this, since the tool is developed, but we are able to ensure that this tool is actually validated, it can also be able to inform the healthcare professionals that, because I'm sure most of the healthcare professionals, if they're not Ethiopians, they're not aware of the Ethiopian diet to actually advise somebody who is Ethiopian. So it's actually a way of also educating the healthcare professionals so that if, for instance, you as an Ethiopian go to seek medical attention, they are also culturally sensitive you to also advise you on the actual diet that you consume than somebody just generalizing that you're probably consuming an American diet and probably that's not what you're consuming. So it helps them to understand actually this is an Ethiopian and so this is how I should educate them, and then you're able to have to actually receive better healthcare, and also somebody is also is also there to help you to better improve your health in the right way. So definitely participating is very important. It might be a little bit lengthy, but just be patient, just take your time and just fill the survey, and definitely it's really for a good cause, and definitely it's there to help us and help our community for sure.
You bring up an amazing and great topic on that, because like you said, if you're trying to get a better health care and the doctor is already assuming you're in America, A, B, C, D is what you're consuming every day, even the recommendation that they may come up with vitamins or the kind of food that you should avoid, they're not even going to list it in there because they don't even know that's what you're being feeding every day. So most of us even have most of our food and the spices from back home to eat it. None of the spices I know, but if you tell me to describe it, I'm not even going to try. That's a very good point to it. So I'm going to follow up with this, Dr. Bogale. ጀሪየት ትልቁ ይመስለኛል። ምክንያቱም ስናስበው እንሄዳለን ዶክተር ጋር ይህን ብሎ አትብሉ እንኳን አንድ ዶክተር ብሎ ቢፈልግ የምንወስደውን አያውቀው በትንሹ በርበሬ ራሱ ምን ያህል በርበሬ እንደምር አልሰር ላለው ይሄንን አትብሉ ምክንያቱም ስፓይሲ ፉድ ብቻ ብለው እና የኛ ህዝብ መብላት ማለት ስፓይሲ ነው ላይለው ለምጆዋለው ሰውነቴ በማለት ጀሬት ባለችው ላይ በአማርኛ እንዲረዳው ብዬ ነውና ሞር እሱ ላይ አድርገህ ከዶክተሮችም ከምናያት ማስረዳትም ሊረዳ እንደሚችል እስኪ ሳምራይዝ አድርግልን።
እሺ አመሰግናለሁ። እንዲያውም ያ ቻሌንጅ ያልከው ሁለቱም ያሉት በጣም ቆንጆ ነው። ጥያቄውን በጣም ቆንጆ ጥያቄ ነው። እንዴት ነው ህዝቡን እንትን የምንለው? የጄሪ ላይ መጨመር የምፈልገው ነገር ካለ ትንሽ ለምሳሌ በኢትዮጵያን ኮሚኒቲ እዚህ ያለው ኢትዮጵያን ኮሚኒቲ ስትሮክ ይበዛበታል ይባላል፣ ዳያቤቲክ ይበዛበታል ይባላል። ይሄን አውቀናል። ግን የሚለውን ነገር ደግሞ አናውቅም። ግን ምን ሆነው ነው? የኢትዮጵያ ምግብ ስለበሉ ነው? የአሜሪካን ምግብ ስለበሉ ነው የሚለውን ማወቅ አለባቸው እነሱ። ጥያቄውን ይበዛብናል ብለን ብቻ ትተን ለምንድን ነው የመጣው አትሊስት ኮዙን ባናቅ እንኳን አሶሲዬሽን ከምን ጋር ነው የተቆራኘው? ከአመጋገብ ጋር ነው ከአካልቸሬሽን ጋር ነው የሚለውን ለመመለስ ህዝቡ ማወቅ አለበት ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ይሄንን ማሳመን ሳይሆን ይሄን መንገድ ነው። በሽታ የሚበዛብን ከሆነ ለምንድን ነው ብለን ጠይቀናል ወይ ብንል ችግሩን ካላወቅን መፍትሄ አይገኝም። ስለዚህ ይሄንን ኮሚኒቲው መረዳት አለበት። ሌላው ቻሌንጅ ጀሬት እንደጠቀሰችው ቻሌንጁ ለኢትዮጵያን ኮሚኒቲ ሪች ማድረግ ብቻ አይደለም። ኢቭን ገቨርንመንት የአሜሪካን ገቨርንመንት ሪች ማድረግ የራሱ የተለያዩ ኒውትሪሽን ፕሮግራሞች አሉ እና ያንን ወደ ተጠቁ ወደ ባሉት አገር ማነው ኮሚኒቲ ነው የሚሄደው። የኛ ኮሚኒቲ መጠቃት አለመጠቃቱን ካላወቀ ችግር የለውም ይላል ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ይሄ ጥናት ያንን ይገልጻል ማለት ችግር አለ ብሎ ካሰበ አዎ ይሄው ችግር አለ ማስረጃ አለን ብለን ወደ መንግስት መሄድ ይቻላል ማለት እና ሌላው ቅድም እንደጠቀሳችሁ ሜዲካል አቴንሽን ለማግኘት እንደውም አንዳንዴ አድቫይዝ የሚደረገው ወደ ዶክተር ስትሄድ ይሄ መድኃኒት እኮ አለ ተብለ ንገር ይባላል አይደል? ዶክተሩ ላቅ ካልቻለ ምናልባት ደግሞ እንደሚጠቅም እኛም ይሄ ጥናት ካለ እኛ እኮ ይሄን እንበላለን ራሱ ዶክተሩን አዌር ማድረግ ይቻላል ማለት ነው። ማስረጃ ካለ ያለ ማስረጃ በርበሬ በላለውና ቢል በርበሬ ምን ይጠቅማል ሊል ይችላል። ማስረጃ ካሌለ እንትን የለው። ስለዚህ ይህ ማስረጃን ማስቀመጥ ጭምር ነው ማለት ነው። ለመንግስትም ለጤና ባለሙያዎችም ለኛም ራሳችን እንበላለን ትዝ ይላችኋል በኤርስ ጊዜ እንዳወደ እንትን ልምጣና ኤርስ ጊዜ ይሄን እንበላለን ብሎ ህዝቡ አልቋል ሳቅ ማለት ነው። ይሄ አሁንም በኮሮና ቫይረስ እኛ የምንበላው ምግብ ይከለከናል ይላል። ስለዚህ ማናቀው ነገር ምንበላው ነገር ጥቅምና ያለውና የሌለውን ካላወቅን ምንም ዋጋ የለውም። በቃ በወሬ ብቻ ነው። ስለዚህ ያንን ህዝቡ ያውቃል የሚል I guess
no you did እሱ ላይ እንዳልከው መጨመር መፈልገው Jerryod, I'm going to repeat it also in English. Some of the things that sometimes we do miss in, I'm not sure if it's the same thing for Kenya, but for some of us, for example, we come in here and then we start talking about food allergies. Sometimes we don't really mention back home lactose intolerance or so circuit of the allergies. And then sometimes it's considered to be that's like a Western problem, not my problem. But is there a body shift we come in here? Is it because we study back home, or that we start eating certain things and now our body starts reacting to certain things? So I'm going to come back and ask you on that. Let me go back to Dr. Bogalem. So in this ነገር ላይ ስናወራ ነጮች የቅብጠት የሀብታ ነው የምንላቸው አለርጂዎች አሉ በምግብ ላይ የተወሰኑና አሁን ካልከው ጋርም ጥርሱን ያነሳሁትና ይሄም ስታዲ ለብዙ ነገር ሊጠቀም ስለሚችል ስለሆነ እንደገና መልሰ የፉድ አለርጂዎች ያልናቸው ምግቡ ስለሚቀየር አየሩ ስለሚቀየር አልቲቲዩዱ ስለሚቀየር whatever ሊሆን ይችላል ወይስ አገራችን ውስጥ ይሄ ስታዲዎች ስለማይደረጉ ያደረግን ያለፍናቸው ነው ለውጡንም ካች ማን
የአለርጂው ጀስት በምግብ አይነትም ላይ ቤዝድ ይሆናል። ያ ማለት የምግቡ አይነት አለርጂ ያመጣል ማለት ሳይሆን ለምሳሌ ኢቭን ዛሬ ጠዋት እንኳን ሳይ ነበርና በዌስተርን ዳይት አስማ ይበዛል ይላል። ግን ምግቡ አይደለም አስማ የሚያመጣው ኢሚዩን ሲስተሙን ያዳክማል የተለያዩ የምግብ እንትኖ የሚበላው። ስለዚህ ጠቅላላ ቅድም እንዳልከው የሰውነታችንና የአመጋገብ ስልቱ የአኗኗር እንትኑ የተቆራኘ ነው። ምግብ ደግሞ ሰውነትን መቀየር ይችላል። ሲቀይር አዳፕት ሲያደርግ ከሴሉላር ጀምሮ ማለት ነው እና እየተቀየሩ ሲሄዱ ቅያሬ ስል ያ አዳፕት ለማድረግ እና አንዳንድ ኢሚዩን ሲስተም ሊደክም ይችላል እና ለነዚህ አድቫንቴጅ ይሆናሉ ማለት ነው። አለርጂ በዛን ጊዜ አድቫንቴጅ ሊኖረው ይችላል። ድጋሜ ደግሞ መታወቅ ያለበት አንድ ትልቅ ነገር አለ። ፕሮባብሊ በሳይንስም ገና አዲስ ሳይንስ ነው። በሆዳችን ውስጥ ያሉ ጀርሞች ባክቴሪያና እንትኖች ከሰውነታችን ሴሎች ይበልጣሉ በብዛት እና እኛ ሁለት ሰው ሆነን ነው የምንሄደው ማለት ነው። የጀርሞች ክምችትና የሰዎች ክምችትና የሰው ሴሎች ክምችት እነሱን የሚጎዳ ነገር ካለ እኛን ይጎዳል። ለምሳሌ ፋይበር ስንበላ ፋይበር ለማይክሮብስ በሆዳችን ውስጥ ያሉ ማይክሮብስ ስለሚጠቅሙ እነሱ ጠቃሚ ማይክሮቦቹ እንትን ይላሉ፣ አለርጂን ይከላከላሉ፣ አስማን ይከላከላሉ፣ ሌሎች እንትኖችን ይከላከላሉ ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ when you shift from one culture to another, especially from developing country, poor country to Western country, you change a lot of things. You change from walking outside a lot of the time, coming in, and what you eat there may be rich of fiber or other nutrients that can benefit the microbes in our gut, and that changes the entire system. And now there is what they call the gut-brain axis. Even the gut, the microbes in our gut can affect our brains. So the allergy shift, the asthma, and the even other diseases, opportunistic diseases, can come because of that shift. Not necessarily bad to good, but the adaptation process can give a lot of difference. And we don't know what's going on in Ethiopian community in here. Like we said, it's a black box.
Thank you, Dr.
I hope I
Bagala.
answered your question.
Yeah, thank you for all those watching. We are live on YouTube and Facebook Live on the Yoftahe Show. Please share and join us for this discussion. We're talking today on acculturation, assimilation, coming in from as immigrants from Africa into the United States or Europe, how much our body changes to the consumption, to the food that we consume, and to the cultural assimilation. So how much our body is changing and reacting to it. Sometimes it doesn't mean it's all bad, but from good to bad or bad to good, but there is changes. So we need to have those studies in order to be able to understand what or how to react and what to keep and what to lose. So Jeriot, back to you again, because I just asked Dr. Bogala, because there are certain kind of food allergy that I've never heard when I was back home, or could be because we never had the study, or because there were so many changes that we come in here and we get to see it. Do you notice a similar thing, that kind of disease like you call based on food that we don't hear back home versus when you come into the United States and you start seeing most of those diseases develop in our population?
Yes, that I will say I've also observed it from my own Kenyan community. I've also observed it, and one of the things that I've never heard of peanut allergy in Kenya. Probably it's there. I've never heard of it growing up, but once I've come here, I've actually had some of my colleagues say I actually developed a peanut allergy. So something that just as Dr. Bogale gut-brain axis, your microbiome just changed, and it's possible because you're also changing. It's a very significant shift from Kenya to here, and definitely that can affect. Also, the lactose intolerance is something that probably it was not something that's very prevalent in also my community back home in Kenya. But coming here, it's something that's very prevalent. But some of the things that we ask ourselves is that once you develop that intolerance, what are you actually replacing it with? So it's is it something that actually affects your body in this and type of way? Because once you develop an allergy, you find something to replace it with. What are you actually replacing with? So actually, this study will help us to understand a lot of this. Is that people are coming here, okay, they will say they have this, but what are they actually replacing this from their diet that they used to eat that than what was back home? And so how does it play to their health generally? So it's something that will help us to understand how all these factors play a role in our health as immigrants here.
Okay, so let's divulge in a little bit more into the program itself, or how, what kind of population do participate in it, will need to participate, how do we put that together, and then how's the result or the study itself done? So if we can go a little bit on that. I'm going to share quickly a quick flyer. And then Jerry, I'm going to start with you, and then I'm going to divulge in after that a little bit more with Dr. Boggala and Jariat. So if you can tell us a little bit how this is put together first. Mm-hmm. We talked about it, but if you can summarize it, and then how do we want people to participate, and then how can they participate?
Okay, and Jariat will also go into who is eligible to take to sign up to be a part of the study or to be part of the survey, to take the survey. But for starters, the 3 requirements are that you must be Ethiopian, you must be born in Ethiopia and moved here and kind of had, as we talked earlier, in the developing world, had the diet there, but also migrated here and has the Western diet change as well. And then you must be older than 21 years old. And as you guys can see on the flyer, has all of the kind of requirements. በአማርኛም ተጽፏል ምን ሶስት ነገሮች ነው ይሄን ሰርቬይ ለመውሰድ 3 የሚያስፈልጉ ነገር አሉ። ስለዚህ ያው ኢትዮጵያዊ መሆን አለባችሁ፣ ኢትዮጵያ ተወልዳችሁ እዚህ አሜሪካን መኖር አለባችሁ እና ከ21 ዓመት በላይ መሆን አለባችሁ። እና ይሄንን ደግሞ ሳይን አፕ ለማድረግ ሰርቬዩን ሰርቬዩን 2 አይነት ነው ያለው፣ በአማርኛም አለ በእንግሊዘኛም አለ። So there's 2 ways that you can take it. There's one in Amharic and there's one in English. And so the best way to go ahead and sign up to be a part of the survey is going to be to go visit www.ethiopiancommunitydfw.org. And now when you go on there, at the bottom on the first page, you'll be able to see this exact flyer with the link, and it says sign up today. It'll take you to a Google form where you can sign up, just your name, email, if you want to take it in English or Amharic, and then that will be able to put you in the system, and we'll contact you in terms of how you're going to take that study. And we'll talk a little bit about, how that looks in the study and kind of all of that. But in Amharic ደግሞ ያው የመጀመሪያው ወይ ኢትዮጵያን www.ethiopiancommunitydfw.org ስትሄዱ ይሄንን ፍላየር የመጀመሪያው ፔጅ ታገኙታላችሁ። እሱን ክሊክ ስታደርጉ ሳይን አፕ ቱዴይ የሚለውን ፎርም ነው። ያው ፎርሙ በአማርኛ ወይ በእንግሊዘኛ መውሰድ ፈልጋለሁ ታላችሁ። ስማችሁን፣ እድሜያችሁን እና 1 2 3 ጥያቄ ነው። እነሱ ጥያቄ ወስዳችሁ ከዛን እኛ ኮንታክት እናደርጋለን እናንተን። ስለ ሰርቬዩን እንዴት ነው የምትወስዱት እንልካለን እና እንቀጥላለን ማለት ነው። And the second way to sign up to take the survey will be going on to the www.facebook.com/MAAEC-Dallas. And on there's a post with the same flyer. It has the link on there with the post, and you'll be able to sign up the same way as I just said previously. በአማርኛ ደግሞ ያው www.facebook.com/MAAEC-Dallas ቀጥታ ስትሄዱ የመጀመሪያው ፖስት የተደረገው ይሄ ነው ፍላየሩ የምታዩት ሊንኩ እዛ ነው ያለው። እዛ ሄዳችሁ ሳይን አፕ ታደርጋላችሁ ማለት ነው።
Thank you very much, Jerry. Jariot, you wanted to add anything from what Jerry was saying, or do you want me to share some of the flyers maybe quickly too?
Sure, you can share some of the flyers quickly. And yeah, it's just if you're Ethiopian, if you're 21 years of age and you were born in Ethiopia, definitely we really do encourage you to just sign up and take this survey. It will take approximately 20 minutes. So we definitely ask for your patience as you're taking it. It's something that will assist us to definitely understand and also be able to have this tool, and also that will help us to understand the diet, the Ethiopian diet, and how Ethiopians in America are actually acculturated to the American diet, and how it plays out to their health, and how we can definitely in future we can be able to develop tools or intervention programs that can better assist in building the health of our community, because that's all we do, that's what we want as a community. We have a great health for all members of our community, and definitely it's a joy when we see people have good health and they're not suffering. And so definitely that is going to help in reducing the financial strain on somebody who might have a chronic disease, because they are expensive. So definitely take the time and just fill out this survey. And yeah, and we definitely look forward to hearing from you as you join this.
Thank you for that. So while we bring Dr. Bogala back, that was just a really very good informative thing. So just wanted, because coming in and talking about how they need people to participate, I can't let any of you go without talking about what is healthy diet, and also what we can do to make sure to be to make sure that we are living with an advice for the people. The participation, the link, we'll make sure to post it on so that people can just click in and go to it. So we will make sure to share that. So we are on the Yoftahe Show. We are coming almost to the end of the program. So please share and watch us on YouTube and Facebook Live. So Jerry, Dr. Bogala, and then Jerry, I'm going to ask almost a similar question, and then some of you can divulge in. So we discussed about what's lacking, what we need to do, but at the same time, I think based on not only on what we eat, but I think also the lifestyle change does affect a lot of what or how we are. We may end up having a lot of walking we do here. Everything might be jumping in, going into the car from car. I growing up myself, we went outside and played a lot. There was not a lot of just sitting in front of electronics, TV, and so we may eat more if we need be, because you are active and your body's burning more calories that way. But if you happen to be someone, especially with COVID, a lot of lifestyle has changed where kids could not even go outside to play. They're on the couch from computer to one computer, just from Zoom to Zoom, and eating at the same time, and nothing is really, so everything is consuming. So let me start with you, Dr. Bogala. Not only what we consume, but our lifestyle does affect the interaction with what we can eat or we shouldn't be eating. So as an advice coming into the end of the program, if you can just summarize that part a little bit with what we consume, and also our lifestyle, how we should be, how we should live our life pretty much.
በጣም ቆንጆ አመሰግናለሁ። እንትኑ ላይ ፍላየሩ ላይ ኢትዮጵያን ስል በዜግነት ሳይሆን በትውልድ ነው ኢትዮጵያን የሚለው። ስለዚህ ሰው ያንን እንዳይ እንትን ኤኒባዲ ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ ተወልዶ ከመጣ ዜግነት ቀየረ ሳይሆን ኢትዮጵያዊ መሆን በትውልድ መሆኑን ይታወቃል። እና ላይፍስታይል ስንል እንዳውም በኢትዮጵያን ኮሚኒቲ አንድ ፍላየር አንድ እንትን ጽፌ ነበርና ሰመራይዝ በማድረግ የተጻፈውን ቢያንስ አራት ነገሮች አሉ። እንቅስቃሴ ማድረግ፣ ዳይት ሁለተኛው ነው፣ ስሞኪንግ ሶስተኛው ነው፣ አራተኛው ውፍረት ራሱን ችሎ ከእንቅስቃሴ ውጪም ከምግብም ከምን እንደ እንትን ነው እንደ ላይፍ ስታይል የሚቆጠረው። እና እነዚህ ላይፍ ስታይሎች ከ5 እስከ 10 ዓመት እድሜ የመቀነስ ኃይል አላቸው። የአንድን ሰው እድሜ ከ5 እስከ 10 ዓመት የመቅጨት እና ላይፍ ስታይል ሲባል ቀላል ነገር አይደለም። እንደ ቀላል የሚያውላሉ እድሜ መቀነስ ብቻ አይደለም፣ ቀሪውንም እድሜ ራሱ ጤናማ ያልሆነ በስቃይ መኖር ጭምር ነው። ስለዚህ ላይፍ ስታይል በቀላሉ 30 ደቂቃ መሄድ በቀን በቂ ነው። ከዛ በላይ ማድረግ ይቻላል። ሞር ኤክሰርሳይዝ ሞር አክቲቪቲ በተደረገ ቁጥር ደግሞ አድቫንቴጁ ጥቅሙ እየጨመረ ይሄዳል። ምግብም ደግሞ በጣም መራቀቅ የለብንም፣ በጣም እንትን ማድረግ የለብንም። ያን ነው ወደ ህዝቡ ተመልካች እንዲያዳምጥ የምፈልገው። እንቅስቃሴም ከቀላል ወክ እስከ ሩጫ ብቻ ጉልበት የማያስፈልግ ምንም እንትን ጂም መሄድ የማያስፈልግ ወክ ፀሐይ ውስጥ ወክ አድርጎ መመለስ ከቤተሰብ ጋር መሆን እድሜ ይጨምራል፣ ጤና ይጨምራል። ምግብም ደግሞ ምን አይነት ዳይት ነው ብሎ ከና ብዙ ዝርዝር ውስጥ መሄድ ማያስፈልግም። ገበያ ሲኬድ በአይን የሚታይ ምግብ በስም የምናውቀው አፕልና ሙዝ ብና እናውቃለን። እንደዛ ነው ጥሩ ስሙን የቀየረ ነገር ሳይበላ እና ጠቆር ያለ ነገር በቃ ሆል ፉድ የሆነ ጀነራል በቃ ቀላል አድርጎ ኮንሰፕቱን ቀላል አድርጎ አትክልትን ማብዛት፣ ፍራፍሬን ማብዛት፣ ውሃን ማብዛት። ስለዚህ ፕሌት አሜሪካኖች ያወጡት ፕሌት በጣም ቆንጆ ነው። 4 ቦታ ፕሌታችንን እንከፍላለን። ግማሹ አትክልትና ፍራፍሬ ይሆናል፣ ግማሹ ሆል ፉድ እና የተለያዩ ፕሮቲን ይሆናል። አሜሪካ ይሄን አውጥታ ለምንድነው በሽታ የሚኖርባት ከተባለ ስላልተቀበሉት ነው፣ ስላደረጉት። አንድ ነገር ምክር ተሰጠ ማለት ጥቅም ላይ ይውላል ማለት አይደለም። መመስከር ማድረግ ያስፈልጋል ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ያን ነው አሰ ጀነራል እንትን የሚደረገው። እና ደግሞ ክብደት ሶስተኛው ያልኩት ክብደት ነው። አንድ ሰው ሚዛን ላይ ወጥቶ ራሱን እንትን ማድረግ በየቀኑ እየጨመረ በየሳምንቱ በየወሩ እየጨመረ የሚሄድ ከሆነ ቆም ብሎ ዋይ ማለት አለ። ሱሪው ጠበበኝ ሳይሆን እኔ ጨመርኩ ማለትን ማወቅ አለብን ማለት ነው። እና ማቆም ይቻላል ያ። እና ሌላው የሲጋራ የተለያዩ በጣም አደገኛው እሱ ነው። እሱን መቀየር መቻል አለብን። ካሮት በመምላት አሜን ካሮትና ቲማቲም ፍራፍሬ እየበላን ቀላል ነው ማለት አይደለም። እንትን መቀየር ግን ጤናና እድሜ እንደሚሰጥ አውቀን መቀየር አለብን ነው። ስለዚህ ላይፍ ስታይል ደግሞ በዚህ ጥናት ወደ ጥናቱ ስንመጣ ጥናቱ ይሄን ሁሉ ይጠይቃል። የላይፍ ስታይልን ይጠይቃል፣ የምግብን ይጠይቃል፣ የሶሺዮ ኢኮኖሚክ እንትን ከማን ጋር እንቅስቃሴ እንደምናደርግ ሁሉ ይጠይቃል። ስለዚህ ከምግብም ባለፈ የላይፍ ስታይሉን ይጨምራል። በኋላ ያንን ለየት አድርጎ ጥቅምና ጉዳቱን መለየት ይቻላል። So in the study we ask about social cultural lifestyle and the knowing lifestyle is very important. As you know, lifestyle factors, exercising, physical activity, diet, and not smoking are very important. They are not only important for health but important for aging. Premature death, it can lead up to 5 to 10 years of premature days. And so we have to know, and we don't have to make it complicated, just to walk 30 few minutes every day without pressure. When you talk about diet, write down what you shop, start from there. Simple food, what you can see, the whole foods, the vegetable, fruits, and concentrate on that. And start slow, small steps matter. It doesn't matter what age you are. You can start at 2 age or at 82, but try to fit into those lifestyle. That's the general guideline. Thank you much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bogale. Jerios, something to add to it, if you can. We come to the end of our program. If you can summarize a little bit, and then what kind of advice, not only just to participate, just in general from what you have seen with the study, what kind of advice would you like to give to the viewers?
Definitely, just echoing what Dr. Bogale has said. Exercise is really important. I'll probably give tips because the tips, just because Dr. Bogale has already captured it all. If you need to exercise, sometimes you may not have the time. You might be crunching up on things, and you need to go to the store. at the end of the parking lot, walk to the store, do your shopping and pack. That's a way to include your exercise. Some people say they don't have time to exercise. If you have the time, nature is a very good opportunity. Go take a walk outside. Walking is a very good way to exercise, and especially since America has really invested on parks and all that, maybe survey your parks. Just go and survey, or even do exercises at home. It doesn't have you have to go to a gym to put in the exercise. Nutrition is so important. Diet, and it's all important. And all this that we are also talking about, it's everything that we are also going to look at in general in the survey, and about exercise, about your diet, and how it plays to health. And so this will also inform us. So this is also to keep you on your daily basis, to have healthy well-being just for yourself and also for your community. So we are there to look out for one another. Yeah, thank you so much, Yoftahe.
Thank you very much. Doctor, information is treasure. We should follow up to eat in regular day. Gut-brain connection is real. Dr. Tihat, thank you very much for being here and watching and sharing with us. And then she says, take care of your microbiome and they'll take care of you. And that's right. And then one more comment that I want to read quickly. Eating the right nutrients not only shape our body, it helps us to shape our thought, attitude, as well as behaviors, which definitely. So we come to the end of our show. So Jerry, let me come to you. ስለ ፕሮግራሙም ጀስት ጀነራልም ደግሞ አንቺ ባሳለፍሽው ባየሽው አይነት ነገር ላይ ምን አይነት አድቫይስ ለተመልካቾች መስጠት ትፈልጊያለሽ?
Thank you, Yoftahe, እንደገና ኢንቫይት ስላደረከን እኛን። ያው ዶክተር ወጋለ እና ጄሪያት ሁሉንም ብለዋል። I don't know ምን አድቫይስ ከኔ መሰጣችሁ። I guess ከፐርሰናል ኤክስፒሪየንስ ይሄንን ፕሮጀክት በጣም ኤክሳይትድ የሆንኩት እኔም በኮቪድ ምክንያት ስለ ጤናዬ በጣም ሲሪየስ ሆኛለሁ እና ብዙ ከኢትዮጵያ ስመጣ በ7 ዓመት ነው የመጣሁት እና በጣም እዚህ ሀገር ስመጣ በጣም ነው ሰውነቴ ቼንጅ ያደረገው እና ራሴን መጠየቅ አለብኝ ራሴን ተነጋግሬ በዚህ እድሜ ይሄን ያህል ዌይት ደርሼ እንዴት ነው የሚቀጥለው ራይት እና ብዙ ሰውን ሬኮመንድ ኦር ምለው ራሳችንን ማየት አለብን ራሳችንን ስለ ጤና ስናወራ እውነት ብዙ ሰው ይፈራል ማውራት ይከብዳል ከባድ ነው uncomfortable ነው ግን እውነት ሰውነታችን እኛ ራሳችን ፊል እንዴት ነው የምናደርገው ደስ ብሎናል ወይስ በሌላ መንገድ ነው እንናደዳለን ዌይታችንን ስናይ እና እንደዛ ከሆነ we have to change it right change ማድረግ አለብን እኔ በራሴ አይቼ በኮቪድ ብዙ ሰው ወይ ጨመረ ወይ ቀነሰ ግን ብዙ ሰው ስለ ጤናው ሪፍሌክት አደረገ ስለዚህ ይሄንን ኦፖርቹኒቲ እኔ ልክ እንደራሴ በማድረገው ትልቅ ኦፖርቹኒቲ ነው ይሄ ያለን ይሄን ሰርቬይ ሰው የሚወስደው ለራሳችን ጤና ለማወቅ ብቻ ሳይሆን ለልጆቻችን ለኔክስት ጀነሬሽን አሁን እኛ ከመጀመሪያ ነው የሚጀምሩት right ዶክተር በጋለና ጄሪያት እንዳሉት ግን ለኔክስት ጀነሬሽን we have something ስለዚህ ምንድነው ፓስ የምናደርገው ለነሱ this is ለዳላስ ኮሚኒቲ ብቻ ሳይሆን ለሁሉም እዚህ ሀገር ያሉት ብቻ ሳይሆን ይቀጥላልም so this is a big opportunity and I say we really need everyone to come together and take the survey like Jerry said, it's 20 minutes that could be, 20 years of help for the next generations to come. And we really advise you guys to take care of yourself and to take, the survey, help us out. The advice that I have is really just to listen to your body. For me, I found carbs don't really work for me. I love pasta and dabo and pasta stuff. Again, I can't, it's not fueling my body. Sugar, excessive sugar, those are just some things that I can feel myself getting tired, those just drowning, mood just changes and I just become a different person because I'm listening to my body, I'm listening to what it wants and I'm fueling it with things that are actually going to help it rather than things that are just going to switch my mood back and forth. So really listen to your body and help us out by going to our Facebook, which is going to be facebook.com/MAEC Dallas, and then take the survey on there, and you can also go to the website by ethiopiancommunitydfw.org, and you'll see the flyer on there to where you can sign up to take the survey. Thank you very much.
I want to let you go. I'm going to have one more question for you, Jerry, because I want to, because the Ethiopian Dallas community is really a strong community that I really, really appreciate, and then you guys do a lot, and then this is also something that you bring up. እና ለማያውቀው ሰው ስለ ዳላስ ትንሽ ሃይላይት እንድትሰጪና ምን ያህል እንደምትሰሩ ሰውን እንዲያውቅ ስለምፈልግ ስለሱ ትንሽ ሃይላይት ሰጪን።
Sure. የዳላስ ኮሚኒቲ I don't know, maybe bias ነኝ እኔ በጣም የራሴ ኮሚኒቲ ስለሆነ ግን ቃላትም የለኝ to express like የኮሚኒቲው አንደኛ ፍቅር ያለው like genuinely everybody ራስ በራስ መተጋገዝ ይፈልጋል። Anybody ከኢትዮጵያ ሲመጣ our community is ready. Like let me tell you, ዌብሳይታችን ሂዱ፣ ኢንፎርሜሽን አለ። ስለዚህ ዋናው ፍቅር ለራስ አለ። ሁለተኛ ደግሞ የምናደርገው ለኮሚኒቲው but different programs. This is over 30 years የሆነ non-profit organization ነው። ግን ከቦርድ ሜምበራችን all the way to volunteers ያሉን there's so many and project like there's the youth program with wellness አለ, connection, scholarship, mentoring, like kasurasu, and then under them is the youth, like different projects, bagurd እየሰሩ video እየሰሩ, like all of these different things. And then the older ones, right? Like the grand renaissance, like I'm not gonna say sent a bit of raise እንዳደረጉ ዳላስ already. Again, lela state furu, like be scared. I mean, there's just so much love and so much work, for the older community, making sure they have a home, making sure they have somewhere to stay. If they have trouble with rent, COVID has been hard. Our task force with COVID, like there's so much under the big umbrella in our community, and it's filled with nothing but love. And it's unat like ቃላትም የለኝ explain ለማድረግ. So yeah.
So thank you for saying that, because በጣም ልመጣልህ ነበር አንተ ጋር
እና ኢትዮጵያ ኮሚቴ ይቻላል
በደምብ ተመሳሳይ ጥያቄ ልጠይቅህ ነበር። ስለዚህ ሂድ
ኢትዮጵያን ኮሚኒቲ ዳላስ ቁጥሩ በደርግ ባይታወቅም እስከ 30,000 ይገመታል ተብሎ ነው እንትን የሚለው። ብዙ ቢዝነስ ኦርነሮች አሉ፣ ብዙ የባለሙያዎች አሉ በእያንዳንዱ እና እንዳው ጀስት ኮቪድ ታስክ ፎርስ ብላ ስለጀመረች ነው። ኮቪድ ታስክ ፎርስ ልክ አሜሪካ ከመጀመሩ በፊት ፌብሩዋሪ ላይ ማስተማር ጀምሮ በኋላ ፎርም አድርጎ ያገለገለ እንትን ነው። ከኢትዮጵያ አልፎ እስከ ሳውት ዳኮታ እስከ ሌላ ስቴት ድረስ ማማከር የቻለ የትልቅ እንትን ያለው ነው። እስከ ኢትዮጵያ ድረስ የታስክ ፎርሱ ስራ ያገለገለበት እንደምታውቀው ዶክተር መለሰን ኦልሬዲ እንትን ብለዋል እና በአጋጣሚ በታድለን ብዙ ባለሙያዎች አሉ፣ በጤና ባለሙያዎች አሉ፣ ፕሮጀክት ማናጀር እንትን ችሎታ ያላቸው አሉ፣ የአመራር ችሎታ ያላቸው አሉ፣ ከፌደራል ባንክ ጀምሮ እስከ እንትን ስራ ውስጥ ያሉ እና ዳላስ በጣም በሰው ብዛት ብቻ ሳይሆን በኮኔክሽን በአብሮ መስራት በጣም የታወቀ ነው እና እዚች ጋር መጥቀስ የምፈልገው ከኢትዮጵያን ኮሚኒቲ ጎን ደግሞ የሚሰራ የኢትዮጵያ ጤና ባለሙያዎች ማህበር አለ። በጣም ጠንካራ ጤና ባለሙያዎች ማህበር ከኒውዮርክ ጭምር አባልንን ብሎ የጻፉልን ጊዜ አለ እና ከቸርች እየዞረ ከመስጊድ እየዞረ የሚያስተምር ኢትዮጵያን ኮሚኒቲ በሚሰበሰብበት እስከ እድር ጭምር ድረስ የሚያስተምር በጣም ጠንካራ ከብዙ ሳይንቲስቶች፣ ከብዙ ዶክተሮች፣ ከብዙ ፋርማሲስቶች በተለያዩ እንትን ያለ ጠንካራ የጤና ባለሙያዎች አለን። የሚሰራው ደግሞ ከኢትዮጵያ ኮሚኒቲ እና ከህብረተሰቡ ጋር ነው እና we are just blessed.
I'm one of the testament, even though I'm in Boston, Massachusetts, የእናንተ ፍቅር ተርፎኛ ጋር ስለደረሰ from all of it ደግሞ what I want to thank the Dallas community, the Ethiopian Eritrean community is because they produced someone like Jerry.
Yes.
So I am so proud of you, Jerry, with everything that you do now. I definitely I cannot wait to see what you can accomplish in this world. And now you are definitely a blessing especially your generation. I am so happy to see your generation come in and be as leaders and participate in all of this. So once again, I thank you. Before I close, I always share the next program. As close as diet is important for us in our community, the way we grieve, the way we pass and kind of things sometimes is not really shared. And now I have the honor of bringing Simrat Araya Gabramahariam on Wednesday. She lost her husband, and now how she raised her kids, what happened. And she has gone into her grieving lows, loved one, from denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then finally acceptance on how she had to go through it. And then she ended up bringing this into a book to help others and share the healing process that we have to go through when we lose someone. It's a very deep, very close to my heart. And then I have the honor of bringing her on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. and 6 p.m. MST time. She's from Calgary, so I'm hoping that you'll be able to join us to talk about that very important grieving process. To summarize back that we are doing in here, I know for myself, I ate always what's called cooked meal. It's so hard for me to go into McDonald's, grab something quick, and then that body was never really. And then it took me, at least since I came to the US, I would say maybe it took me at least 2 years before I ate anything what's called cold sandwiches, because my body I could not accept it at all. So I could not go to a Subway and then grab in a sandwich, because that was not something that I was used at all. So our body takes time to get adjusted. As much as we learn the language, our body is also taking steps. And then if we're shocking it with something that is not used to, and then we see the prevalence of diabetic, we see the high blood pressure, other things. And then we always talk about gut problems that we never really experienced before. So what we consume is very important. So this is really dear, close to my heart when I ask people to participate, because our communities usually, I would say from Africa, we have this tendency of when it comes to research, we don't take it seriously, we don't participate on it. And every advance in technology, science happens because of research. People participating in data collection, that's where everything starts. So it's very important all of us participate in this. Like they said, it takes only 20 minutes. So we need to participate as much as we can to see, not only for our impact, but for our generation. ባጭሩ እንደዚህ አይነት ሪሰርችን ሁላችንም እንደምናውቀው ከኢትዮጵያ ስንወጣ አብዛኛውን ጊዜ የምንበላው ምግብ ወርም የሆነ የበሰለ ነው። ግን ቀዝቃዛ ምግቦችን ብዙ ጊዜ አንበላም። እንደ ማክዶናልድ አይነት ነገሮችን ግሪሲ ምናምን ፋቲ የምንላቸውን ብዙ ጊዜ ሮጠን አንበላም። አብዛኛውን ጊዜ እንራመዳለን እና ላይፍ ስታይላችን በጣም ስለሚቀየር በምንመጣበትም ሰዓት ደግሞ ወደ አሜሪካ ስንመጣ ሁሉ ነገር የሚቀየረው ቋንቋውን መማርና ካልቸሩን መማር ብቻ ሳይሆን ሰውነታችንን ማለማመድ አለብን እና የምናያቸውን በሽታዎች የተለያዩ ሃይ ብላድ ፕሬሸር የምንላቸው የስኳር በሽታ የምንላቸው የሚመጡት ከምንበላው ምግብ ስለሆነ ያንን ደግሞ ለማስረዳት ዶክተሮችም እንዲረዱን ማድረግ ያለብን እንደዚህ አይነት ሪሰርቾች ላይ ፓርቲሲፔት ማድረግ አለብን እና ለልጆቻችን ለእኛ ብቻ ሳይሆን ለልጆቻችን የሚጠቅም ስለሆነ ሁላችሁንም በተቻላችሁ መጠን 20 ደቂቃ ብቻ በመውሰድ ፓርቲሲፔት እንድታደርጉ እንጠይቃለን። ሊንኩን የዳላስ ሊንክን ቅድም ያሳየናቸውን ፍላየሮች I'm going to be posting it ፖስት ስለምናደርገው በሱ ላይ በመከታተል እንድትቆዩ እናደርጋለን ማለት ነው። እና የዌድነስዴይ ማታም ደግሞ 8 p.m. ላይ ከካልጋሪ እህታችን ባለቤቷን አታ ልጆቿን በምታሳድግበት ሰዓት ያሳለፈቻቸውን ችግሮች፣ ሀዘኖች በምን አይነት ቦታ እንደወጣች መጽሐፍ የጻፈችው አለ። ስለሱ መጽሐፍ እንወያያለን ማለት ነው። 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday night on the Yoftahe Show join ታረጉን በዚህ ሰዓት ጠይቃለሁ ማለት ነው። ተመልሼ እንደገና ጀሪዮት Dr. Bogale, Jerry, it's been a pleasure having you on the Yoftahe Show. We learned so much. It's been a very important topic. So we pledge for everyone to be able to participate. What we consume is going to matter because we have only one body. This is it. If we don't take care of it, it's not like we're going to go to Walmart and replace it with another body. So we better take care of it like now the way it is. And then we have the choice what we put in it. And exercise is another way of building it. Dr. Bogale summarized it in a very nice way. It's what we eat can take out almost 5 years out of our life. And then I don't want to give any 5 years. I have so many things that I need to accomplish. So tell me all the health benefits so that I can keep this body moving. So thank you again. It's a pleasure. እግዚአብሔር ይባርካችሁ ሁላችሁንም። And then Jariet, will be hopefully to have you back again on the show, because I want to hear more about what you do in the area, so that we can make this also not just in the Ethiopian immigrant, but everything else that you work in, so that we can also include all the rest of Africa. And then whenever I talk about Africa, I always say to the population, Africa is not a country, it's a continent. So that's how I'm going to leave it. So bless you all. See you all on Wednesday night. I wish you to have, and tomorrow, it's a very, 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 very special day. I want you all to say this for the mothers who have been able to hold us. And I want Mother's Day to be every day, but for those mothers out there, I want to say Happy Mother's Day. We thank you. We love you for everything that you have done and you keep doing for all of us. So without you, we are nothing. Happy Mother's Day. መልካም የእናቶች ቀን። እንወዳችኋለን። ከእናንተ ውጭ ምንም ነገር መሆን አንችልም እና ለምታረጉት ነገር በሙሉ እናቶችን በሙሉ እግዚአብሔር ይባርክልኝ። እንወዳችኋለን እና Happy Mother's Day for tomorrow for all of you ላለው. Until next time, I wish you all a blessed day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.